Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello, Bob Wells here, and welcome back to the Undercurrent Stories podcast, where we dive deep into the hidden depths of our world, one fascinating story at a time. Nuneaton Town Football Club has been a cornerstone of the local football scene, with a rich history and strong fan base going as far back as 1889. Last year, it was forced to withdraw from the Southern League due to financial problems and faced liquidation. In today's episode, we're going to hear the remarkable story of how just months after the collapse of the club, a new club was formed. What really is incredible is how the team came together. Not only did they have to sign on new players, but they were recently crowned champions of the Midland Football League Division 1 at Step 6. It's an amazing story, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Lacrouts, Director, and Russell Dodd, Joint Manager of Nuneaton Town Football Club. Hello and welcome to Undercurrent Stories, gentlemen.
Hi, Bob.
Just before we talk about the club, could you just tell us a bit about yourselves and how you both sort of got into football, please?
Nuneaton lad, brought up a stone's throw from the ground. Back in the 80s, there wasn't much social mobility as such, and didn't get about so much. And I could see the floodlights from my window, and I thought, I need a bit of that. So I just started walking to the games on the Todd. Went there on my own, 50p to get in. I was about 12, 13, and just got into it that way. And it sort of never left me. I've never been interested in any football higher up the pyramids. It's just not for me. I like the atmosphere at non-league, and it's always stayed with me since I was a kid. And it's still with me now, more than ever.
I can see that. What about yourself, Russell?
To be honest, I've been in it all my life. Done the usual when I was younger. I was at the Albion where I signed schoolboy forms. Then got released when I was about 17, and then I went to Kiddie Harriers. And I was full-time at Kiddie. And then when I came out of there, I played the non-league scene. So I played at the, obviously, conference for Kiddie, and then the Dr. Martin's Prem for the likes of Tamworth, Hensford, Bromsgrove, plus many other clubs. And then as I was coming to the end of my career, I always wanted to go into management because the football's in my blood. So even when I was still playing, I went into player assistant where I was with Mark Hallam at Bedworth United, and then Bromsgrove, Albury, and then went on from that. So and I carried on then being a manager myself with Lichfield, Cradley, Cov United, Highgate, and obviously now we're at Nuneaton.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly an amazing story. I suppose we want to start at the beginning. I mean, why did the previous club sort of go into liquidation?
They were they evicted from their ground, really, and it became quickly unsustainable. October 2023, I think, they lost the ground, and then it sort of became a bit of an effort to keep the club running because obviously with no home gates and the requirement to have an home ground, it had to liquidate itself. So the club folded in January 24, so it lasted about 3 months without a ground, which every game was away. There was no income, so it was just hand to mouth, and it finished in January.
But I mean, this is in essence a new club, isn't it?
Absolutely.
New management. And I noticed that it's a CIC. Could you just explain to listeners what a CIC is, please?
It's a community interest company. So basically, it's effectively not for profit. Every penny that we get is plowed back into the club. There's no shareholders. There's no profit in terms of to the directors. No one takes a wage. We're just all volunteers. And we sort of put that board together early doors within a steering group that I believe your friend Greg was a part of. Sort of February time, we sort of had a steering group of about 30 people. Was trying to put the club slowly back together. It was a bit of a process. We had the club had sort of burnt its bridges in the community a little bit and was trying to repair that. So it was hard going at first, but slowly but surely, we put the club back together with some really brilliant people. It's not just me. There's four other directors, secretary, treasurer. It's the first time the club's ever had a treasurer in 40 years, as long as I've been a supporter, which that tells you something in itself. We've got a media team, fantastic media team, second to none at non-league. Um, I'd say the club's very much still a step three side off the field, but it's on the field in stature. It obviously isn't on the field, but
Yeah.
I hope they catch up with each other.
Yeah.
It's been run so transparently. We publish our accounts on a monthly basis, full breakdown of what our costs, incoming, outgoing. There's so much, and we base it on sensible crowd. 200 come through the door this season, and we budget uh, our outgoings on that basis. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all been joined up and thought of. It's not just we're not just through it together. It honestly, starting a football club's absolutely, you wouldn't believe the expense that it costs really.
Yeah, and the amazing speed that you did it is absolutely fantastic. And of course, if we go to the operational side with you, Russell, it must have been something really special that you guys have worked. I mean, you're joint manager, right? I mentioned that at the beginning.
Yeah,
you're joint
me and
manager.
Darren Axon, yeah. My best
How does it work? I was going to say, how does it work? Is it like a Brian Clough? And I can't remember the other name of the guy originally. But how does it work with two as a joint manager?
Don't get me wrong. We've had a lot of success, and we've had a lot of arguments. But we are best mates, so we are like two brothers. And we're both passionate because we want to win, we want to win for the club. And you're right, when we sat down with the board and we got offered the job, they were honest. And as Mark just said, they were working a budget on 200 fans coming through the door. We never had one player, so it was very much about we'd got a month to build a squad. So we had a lot of meetings. Some players we didn't agree with. And obviously then we built a squad of about 25 pre-season. And then we obviously dwindled it down to 20. So, and let's be honest, it's gone better than before. Obviously we're building a side to compete for the league, but we didn't expect probably to win it with 3-4 games to go.
It's amazing. And of the players that you've got, did any of them play in the previous club's incarnation?
In terms of Nuneaton?
Yes.
Or
are they all new players?
Louis Baker is there. I don't think there's anybody else, is there, Mark?
We had a sort of a junior section, and a few have come from there, and they went into the first team. But sort of, some of them have been successful, trying to ground them into this levels, obviously down to Russ and Hacko, but because we've been so successful, it's really quite difficult to put untried talent in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But when going back to when we chose the manager, I felt it was important to. We wanted the supporters to identify with the players, come in, be accessible to the supporters. We could actually have a chat to them after the game in the bar. That's what non-league football's about to me, and that's what we wanted. And we wanted to get that connection with the supporters, with the players. It wasn't just get your kit and clear off home. It was very much so that those guys are expected to stay and mix with the supporters, and actually the supporters buy into that, and the players bought into that as well, because they need each other during a game.
And on the playing side, what were the sort of on-field aims, and how does that compare to what's actually been achieved, Russell?
Well, obviously when we first sat down, it was all about getting the side on the pitch and competing. But as I said, it went better than we thought from the start, from the first game. There's a lot of players who play for us who have played for me before, which was help for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's quite a few that played for me at Highgate and Cov United and people like that. But the good thing as well is, as Mark's just said, apart from myself, the whole of our management is ex-Nuneaton. So Darren's obviously played 300 odd games. Justin Marsden, who's our assistant, played many games. Blake would work there in the management. Even the physio, Kev, he was the physio there. So they all know the club. So it was a great start for us. It was just about then building the right. And I have to say, when we signed players then later on in the season, it was very much about players fitting into the squad, not just about the talent, because we have, as Mark just said again, we have a tight team, tight squad that gets on with the fans, the board, the volunteers, the club. We are one. It's not about we are the players and you don't have nothing to do with us. We are one as a club. And it's been like that ever since we started the season.
Yeah. And how the fans reacted to the new incarnation of the club?
Brilliant. You've only got to look at last Saturday, haven't you? 860 there. To have that at step 6 is unbelievable. I'll be honest, because I've been in step 6 before, and I know there's a lot of clubs have, no disrespect because it's the level, have like 25 people, and that is what it is. You can't help that. That's what it is. But these fans have been brilliant. Home and away, we've been taking 300-400. The clubs we played against have loved it because we're building. Many clubs that I know have come to me after and said that's probably financially helped us for the whole of next year, and that's been great. Not only that, for other teams in the league, but you can't take it away from the fans. They're brilliant. Backed us all the way. Enjoyed it. Many people as well, which I haven't played for none of it before, but many people coming back in the bar now saying they haven't been here for 3 years, and now they're coming back, enjoying it, and it's good for the club.
Bob, for me, it's important to tell you that last year I was a fan. I was just paying my 14 quid to get in the games, and I said when I put myself front and centre of this, I said I will always put the fans front and centre of this on my day to day. Everything we do is for the supporters. Fans are they're your bread and butter. And I'm only a custodian. I'm only here for a short period of time, but I can set the foundations of a strong club. That's what we need to do. And Nuneaton, in terms of non-league, is absolutely a massive club. It's a big, big club. I sometimes it's hard if the people don't follow non-league. It's a big club in terms of its reputation, its stature, its history, its heritage, everything that's gone before. It's still there, but we need to do it right, and we need to be seen to be doing it right for people to buy into it. So we need to do it right off the pitch and right on the pitch, and it just joins into everything. It's like a wheel. We've always pushing. We're trying to push. We're trying to grow that fan base back again because we've had crowds of 2,000. It's a big club, Bob.
So we've got listeners all over the world who listen to this this podcast. Most of them are in the UK and the US, and they will have seen Premier League football on the TV. They probably know a little bit about football, as I do. But could you just explain some of the differences in terms of non-league football compared with what we would consider to be Premier League football? And when I say that, I mean in terms of a player, they're not paid the same money. They've got a job, I assume. Could you just tell us some of the differences and similarities?
The thing for me, Bob, is that it's amazing, isn't it? Because you see these Premiership footballers, and I know obviously it's a lot harder, it's intense, it's quicker, and all that kind. They'll train every day, a lot fitter, but our guys have to go to work. And we've got many guys who work on sites, and they're up on the road at 5 a.m. Then they've got to come and train. And for the first few months of the season, we literally were playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday every week. And these guys have to work all day to earn their real money and then come and really, let's be honest, non-league, I know there is a lot of money paid at the higher levels, but really it isn't going to change your life. So it's still kind of a hobby. But at the same time, as Mark said, we want it done professional. So we want it done right. And the lads I've got in the squad expect it done right. The club have done everything right what they can by the club, and it's just gone. For me, it's just probably been too good, a dream. It's like the other week we're all sitting at home after our 100th goal, and it's on Central News saying we've won goal of the weekend. When you're talking against all these pro clubs, it's just how is it happening? It's just amazing to see.
You mentioned that you had 800 fans at last week. Typically, how many fans would you have at a normal match?
We've averaged around 450 this season. But we obviously get the holidays and the bank holidays, and that boosts the crowd up. But I think we're doing a lot of stuff off the pitch as well to boost the community aspect, and people are buying into that as well. They can see what we're doing in terms of the community, and it's not just about the football as such. We've had food banks, we've had the guide dogs there. We have mascots every week. The kids come and go in the dressing rooms. It's fantastic. They go and meet the players before the game, and they high five, and then they walk out on the pitch, do a penalty shootout. It's fantastic. The kids absolutely love it, and that's probably our biggest success this year. I mean, just like the young kids coming in and meeting the players and just talking to them about, well, no, football boots, what position you play, boys and girls, not just it's everything. We're trying to buy into. It's more of a community now than a community club rather than just a football club, and that's important for a lot of non-league. They have to tap into that community. And when I first started, believe it or not, this journey, I was so focused on getting the right manager in and getting the right person to manage the football and think about, how are we going to do this season? And I was so worried about that. And I quite quickly realised, actually, it's great what we're doing on the pitch, but the bigger picture is the community. Seeing people that you see every week, that it is their interaction. There might be that one interaction with that one person that week, and they see that person, and you see them, and you know they're fine, and you can have a chat to them, have a beer with them after the game. It all plays into the community aspect of what we want the club to be.
And I guess that must rub off onto the players when they see that type of reaction from the fans.
Yeah, totally. Again, as they are, they're very much. They are the 12th man. They support us, and yeah, we had 850 there, 860 there last week, but we had 850 there again the week before as well at Kirby. Yeah. So the fans are brilliant. We expect the fans there now. That's how good they have been for us. And when we first were signing players, Darren, because he played there, and Justin, he was saying, "Oh, we'll get minimum 200. We will." And I'm sitting there thinking, I hope this happens now, because we're getting players to come. First game of the season, I think it was 450. Was it, Mark? 450.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I actually thought, oh my God, because I've been at step 6, and then we went to Chalmsley in the week later, and I think we took 400. Absolutely brilliant. And it is. And keep saying the community and a club is that. I talk to fans. I've got their numbers. I ring them out of the club to see they're okay and to keep in touch, and because we've got to be together. And the thing is, for me, I'm quite honest, and Darren is that we let them have their opinion. At the end of the day, they're going about this thing about people pay the money so they can have an opinion. It's not an argument, but you can go in the bar after and we talk. We walk around, me and Daz and Justin and some of the players, and we walk around all the people in the club that's still there, and we have a hello, chat, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they might give us our opinion. Well, they will give us our opinion, but at the end of the day, the important opinion is ours at the end of the day, because we have to live and die by that, man, Darren, Justin, and the management. We have to live and die by that. So it has been a great year, but it will never not, like, they come to me and say, oh, he's done great, or I think we never need this or that. They just want to do success. All the things at the end of the day now, this year, next year, the year after, everybody in this club, whether the board, volunteers, the players, the management, the supporters, want one thing, and that's success at the club.
Hi, it's Bob here, just a quick interlude. Hope you're enjoying this episode, and if you would like to hear more interesting interviews, we have over 120 episodes to date with many fascinating guests talking about a wide variety of topics which include music, history, philosophy, fitness, food and drink, adventure, contemporary culture, and many, many more. I'm sure there's something that you'd really enjoy. So all you need to do is just visit undercurrentstories.com or search Undercurrent Stories in any of the podcast platforms. And now back to the show. Yeah. And do you have a particular, and I'm talking technical now, so you have to forgive my ignorance on this, but do you have a particular style of play? So, for example, if, your Pep Guardiola ticky-tack type stuff, are you into that, or are you into the sort of more established Old English way of long passes?
No, we play. We've got a lot of good footballers, and because we're playing on 3G, we play football. And you wouldn't believe, Mark will back me up here. We lost a couple of games this year, and the hardest thing for me as the management, or me and Darren, is trying to get the lads to, when you go away and the pitch is very heavy or bubbly or not the same as it's not a 3G, it's grass, it's trying to convince them they've got to go long and play in their area instead of playing in our area. And that's been the hardest part for us, because we do want to play football. The lads like to play from the back. We're all comfortable on the ball. They like to get on it and pass, and we encourage that, and it's the right way to play football.
So it will change depending on the ground you go to.
Has to. And a good side can accommodate.
Yeah.
I will say, though, on the fans' forums that we've got are quite active. And we, initially, when the team come back, people said they weren't going to watch this level because we'd been so high. I mean, 10 years ago, we was playing against Wrexham and Luton and all those teams, and Grimsby and established non-league league clubs as well on a weekly basis. And people say, well, I'm not going to watch that football no more because it's just kick and boot, it's like long ball stuff. And actually, I've seen lots of people gone, actually, this is really, really good football we're playing. And we're set up to play football. And like Russ says, sometimes he has to stop and playing football and just play to win the game rather than tiki-taka, which we've been guilty of, I suppose, some drop points for it. But it's been an eye-opener.
I bet. And you're using another club at the moment. You're sharing ground with another club, I believe.
Yeah, Bedworth United. They're sort of our near neighbours, if you will, and they've been fantastic, to be honest. We've got a ground hire agreement. We hire the ground once for all our home games, and it's worked out really well. I mean, we might be rivals on the pitch, but it sort of worked well for Bedworth, and it works for us. We desperately want to get back to Nuneaton. That's our homeland. So yeah, we want to get back there.
So your next goal is to get a ground in Nuneaton, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've started the initial sort of a feasibility on a couple of sites in Nuneaton, and we're working with the council. We're still pre-feasibility, so we're trying to get the feasibility study. We've commissioned someone to do that for us, and it's hopefully it should be with us very soon. Like, we're talking days now. So, and then we can hopefully convince the council to back us in what we want to do.
So they would back you financially. You'd rent the ground and they'd support it financially, would they?
No, we'd have to fund the ground, etc. Oh, there's with grants and such like, and there's a lot of grants around at the minute, and we'd ideally part fund it ourselves. So we have a back to the Nuneaton fund. So we every pound that we get through the turns, every entrance fee, we take £1 off that, and we put it into the back to the Nuneaton fund. And we're doing okay with it. So and it's ring fenced, so we can't use it to get back into Nuneaton. So yeah, it's going to take a lot more than £1 coming through. It's going to take a lot of hard work by the board, the volunteers, and all the fans, really, because it's a fan-led club and they own the club. Like, it's everyone, and we want a community stadium, And it's the first step of getting back to Nuneaton. We realise how hard the journey is going to be, but we're going to with the people that are best placed to do it are with the club now. So
Yeah.
they're going to take that challenge on.
And how does it work with youngsters teams and ladies teams? Have you got a ladies team, girls team, or youngsters team involved?
The ladies team folded this year, unfortunately. Surprisingly enough, due to lack of facilities, there's no really. Nuneaton's been quite left behind, if I'm honest, with 3G plastic surface. So there's only one exists in Nuneaton, and you can't get on it because but it's not a full stadium. It's just a sports field with a plastic pitch. It's not really kitted out for a big football club like ourselves to sort of put games on. The stadium we want would be for the whole community. It'd be for our junior section that we've got. It'd be for the ladies that we could actually start to have a ladies side again. But it's about the volunteers we've got at the minute. We're all stretched to the limit, really.
Yeah.
And the thing is on that's what I was going to say. It is about that as well, because we still have a junior section, but we can't get as close as we want to with them, and that's getting them involved with us and some of our first team, say, training them and all that, because obviously we haven't got our own ground. And even the thing we spoke about is, I know if we have a ground, we probably could have an academy, and that's the way as a club we could grow, because the size of the club, it's so big.
Yeah. And what about sponsorship? I noticed there's quite a few names on your website of sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors. At first, we sort of had a core of about 20 sponsors that sort of give us the impetus to get the club going, and then but then so slowly as the season's gone on, and the sponsors have actually seen a bit of bang for buck and what we're doing in the community, they thought, wow, actually we can buy into this, and sort of like the financial openness that we've got has sort of give them the sort of confidence to put money into the club. We've recently appointed a commercial manager, so it was just the directors at the start of the season promoting the club, the sponsorship, and raising funds. So we've actually had to get someone on board to actually grow that, because it's sort of became a bigger thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and in terms of, again, I for anybody who doesn't know an awful lot about non-league football, I guess the teams that you're playing against are relatively local to you, aren't they? Because it's a Midlands. I mean, you don't have to travel to Hull or Grimsby or anywhere like that now.
No, most of the teams in this league, they have been local. Birmingham kind of area, and then there's a lot of teams now in Leicester. So them are probably the furthest we go. We went to Bridgnorth, which I think is the furthest trip, where we had a great day. We had a coach load, 2 coaches go there. We had a night out together with the fans, and that's what it's about. And then we had coaches to Cradley. So we've got the best out of it we can, but then it depends on what league we go in, because if we go in your counties league, potentially there probably will be more local, but a lot more in Northampton kind of area. And then if we go in the Midland, there's probably going to be more in North, because the likes of Northwich and them kind of clubs are in there. So, but as they say, whatever you get put in, you don't have a choice.
No, and how does that affect a player? Because I guess these guys have got jobs. Some are on building sites, some are in offices or whatever. They do a day's work. They then have to. They love to play. But if they've got to go, say, further afield, how does that, in your experience in the past, Russell, how does that affect them in terms of their sort of motivation?
Well, going back to my own, when I was playing, and obviously the step 3 and step 2 levels, you have to have half a day off work. So I know some of the trips that we will have, whatever league we go in, for a midweek, we will have times that the guys have got to finish work early. Because if you want to be there and it's the time of people leaving work, and you want to be at a ground at 6:30 away, the guys are going to have to leave work. So that's part of it that they have to do, and the guys don't moan about it; they do it.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably why people get paid in football. But as I said, it isn't going to change your life in what they get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these guys are not earning that much, Bob. If I'm honest, these guys are a lot. If you actually paid them on the hours they actually were, they'd probably be on less than minimum wage. So, but they do it for the love of the game.
Yes.
They do it because they love it.
And is there a sort of like a recognised sort of salary that you give them for what they do? Is that common with other clubs like yourselves?
How does it work? It is different in terms of all clubs are different because it's, again, as Mark said, when the board sat down and they're running the club right, you've got to manage your budget right. So if there was no point, if I'd have sat down and they offered me and Darren the job and they said, okay, guys, you're going to have this amount of money and it's based on 700 fans coming in every home game and we never got it once to start, the club's already in trouble. So they had to do it the right way, and it's been good because we've worked together as management and as a board. And then you've got other clubs, to be fair, as I said, Bob, is that potentially clubs will only have 20, 30, 40, 50 go in the door. When they're not, if they pay, they're not going to pay a lot because you've got to make the money from somewhere, haven't you? You know what I mean? Unless you've got a rich chairman who just wants to put money into a football club that he knows he isn't going to get back. Because there is clubs higher, and when I mean higher, I don't even mean step 3, I mean step 4 that are paying a lot of money out. I know the Midland Division compared to the Northern pay hell of a lot more money than the Midland, and I'm talking thousands of pounds per week. So the club as a whole, of the board, Mark, the chairman, the treasurer, as he said, with Ian and Lee, that they've got to manage and put a business plan together, not just a football plan, a business plan to how we're going to achieve that in years to come if we go up.
Yes, it sounds like a challenge.
So we was actually doing the budgets for next season, September, coming in January this year.
Oh, right.
And so we didn't even know who was going up at that point. So this is the thing you have to start doing. It's all new to us. It's new to me, certainly. I'm learning on the job, and I think it's just like a joined up plan. It's got to be, and we're not going crazy. We're not putting no one in jeopardy. The club's going to be here on Saturday, the Saturday after, and the Saturday after that, and the season after that. It's just being run as a business now. It's not so much, it's what comes in we spend. If it don't come in, we don't spend it. Simple as that.
Well, you've certainly been on a journey, both of you, and your other fellow colleagues. In terms of what you've learned on the way, and somebody said to you, look, I'm going to start a football club. What are the lessons you've learned and what advice would you give them?
I said to one of my other directors the other week, I said, if you knew what you knew now, would you do it all again? And he actually said to me, he actually didn't say anything. He just looked in the air and paused for about 5 minutes. He didn't know. But do you know what? It's probably the best and worst thing I've done, because you put yourself out there potentially for criticism if it didn't go right, But for me personally, it's been quite rewarding to be part of something that's been so successful. I'm sure we're going to have bad days, and we're going to have rougher days ahead. But this season, it's been easier because it's been successful with Russ and Darren doing so well.
So Russ, on the pep talk just before they go out on the pitch, is it yourself and do you both of you have a talk, or is it just yourself? Or
we all do it.
Work?
And Justin does as well. We don't. It isn't just about me and Darren. We talk to Justin about the team, and we all have a chat. We take it in turns sometimes, because I say, like, sometimes, okay, I do a lot of the talking, but it is like sometimes, like Saturday, that Justin, you start, because it's a different voice. but very much because we kind of been playing a lot of the same. And we've been on this run. I think it's about 18 unbeaten at the minute. That the squad has only been about 17 players between the whole of that. Whoever starts will come off the bench. The squad's been very tight. So a lot of the stuff we've done the same. They know what we do. They know how to do it. They know what we expect. And the hardest thing for me was, as much as the club said, look, if we don't go up, then obviously next year we've got to go up because they want to get out. But I felt my own pressure, and I know Mick Darren did as well, because it's Nuneaton. And everybody looked at us, even for me being in my local pub, saying, if you don't go up, Russ, that's a bad year for you because it's Nuneaton. And that's what it's been like for me. I probably, if I'm honest, hated every game up until last Saturday.
I think there's a level of expectation at Nuneaton. Because you're a big club dropping down that far, people want to beat you for a start off. And then the expectation of the supporters, which we're trying to manage, it's saying, look, there will be bad times. And I mean, I'm a firm believer, if you tell people the truth, they will understand. And if we can't compete with budgets in the future, so be it. We'll be there next week competing. So, it's got to be sustainable. So
we had a Q&A the other week. There was 180 there. It's just incredible to how much they are Nuneaton through and through. And we've only lost twice this year, and we lost one away at Ingles. And I went to say thanks to the fans for coming. It was a Tuesday night, and they were so funny because their comments to me were, Doddsy, that was rubbish. And I went, totally agree with you. Let's have a pint. Because what more can I say? It was rubbish. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the players have set levels that the fans know. So they know what to expect. And as Mark said, they give their opinion, and we could have bad days. And you take it on the chin and say, okay, we'll do better next week. And from that game, as I said, we're 18 unbeaten.
So it's excellent, isn't it? So if we've got any listeners who want to get involved with the club, or perhaps just want to come and see you, there might be some people listening in the Midlands. How is it? I presume it's a pretty friendly club. How much does it cost to get in? Is there a nice pie? How much is a pie? How does it all work?
Yeah, we've got Sean Shack. Sean Shack. She'll sort you out with some burger and chips. But you come down. Have a look at our website. It's nuneatontown.co.uk. Have a look. All the directions on there. I think we've only got one home fixture left, so they better be sharp if they want to come. So, yeah, it's we've got a final as well, playing at Warsall's ground soon. So, on the 30th of April, that'll be good for the experience for the team and the supporters again. So maybe a bit more silverware. Who knows?
Great stuff. So how many more games have you got in the season?
Well, we've got one home game, the last game of the season. We've got one away game, and we've got a cup final. But on the 19th of April is our last league game. We're obviously going to get presented with the trophy for the winning the league, and we're going to have a presentation, the league officials, and have a celebration of winning the league. So,
well, that sounds like the one to watch.
Yeah, we're expecting a big crowd to come down, so could be break our record. Hopefully, we'll get over 1,000 that week. So, yeah, it's just great. So, yeah, hopefully the lads will put a performance on, and we'll get the 3 points and a trophy after the game. So,
that sounds good. Well, it's been great talking to you both and hear this fantastic story of the rebuilding of this new club. What makes it special is the speed in which it came together through grit and determination, and the club continues to serve fans after 130 years. My guests today have been Mark Lacrouts, Director, and Russell Dodd, Joint Manager of Nuneaton Town Football Club. And you can find more about the club on the link in the show notes. Thank you for coming on the show, gents.
Thanks for having us, Bob.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.